The horrible tragedy in Dallas reminds all of us that law enforcement officials here in Minnesota and throughout this country risk their lives every day and every night to keep all of us safe and protected. In particular, looking out of the window at the residence over the last 24 hours and seeing St. Paul police officers standing exposed as the officers in Dallas were to protect the residents, protect me. It fills my heart with enormous gratitude to them for the service, as well as the State Patrol security officers who are with me day and night. And I also am aware of a fragmentary report of violence up in North Minneapolis and involving one or two very innocent children. And I make an appeal to everyone in Minnesota for calm, for understanding of this difficult time of the need for calm and nonviolence. And we'll get through this this terrible time here in Minnesota if we can all recognize that and not take any actions that are going to exacerbate a very difficult situation still further. That's my appeal to the people of Minnesota. Glad to respond to questions.
Governor, yesterday you mentioned that you didn't think the shooting would have happened if the passengers and drivers in that vehicle were white. You've received some pushback today from law enforcement calling your remarks irresponsible. Do you stand by those remarks?
I said them. I'm not going to go back and rehash what I said yesterday. I stand by what I said yesterday based on the information I had. I don't have any new information today. But again, I want to emphasize the need for calm and understanding, and I don't think it serves any purpose to go back and rehash that. I don't intend to. I'm judging based on the evidence that I have. I said that yesterday. Based on the information I have, the evidence that I have, the BCA will be conducting a complete investigation, and as they should. And once those facts come to light, if there's new information that changes the context or the facts of what was reported yesterday occurred, I'll modify my comments accordingly. But based on what I knew then, which is what I know now, that's I said it yesterday. I stand by it.
Governor, you are appealing for calm. Governor, you are appealing for calm, and you obviously have people who feel that they aren't treated fairly by police who are protesting. You obviously have police who feel that they're being criticized too harshly. How do you prevent an us versus them mentality?
Well, I think that's apparent to me based on the stark differences in the reactions from different people to what I said yesterday, and I think that's representative of a difference that exists in Minnesota, that exists across this country. I think the president referred to that yesterday. It underscores the need for us to say, not react violently, to react non-violently to this very, very difficult situation. And it's instructive to me in terms of what we need to be working on in Minnesota to try to find ways to bring people with different perspectives together and try to find common ground and understanding. I don't have a proposal today of how to do that, but we're focused on that, and we'll have more come forward with that in the future, near future.
Governor, a local station has aired audio that, if authentic, would seem to suggest that the officer may have thought that Mr. Castile was a robbery suspect. Do you know anything about that, or do you know why Mr. Castile was pulled over?
I don't know any more than what I was told yesterday. I don't know what you're referring to.
Governor, you asked the Department of Justice to come and investigate. They've said for now they're just going to monitor. Is that response sufficient in your view?
Well, it's vague. Our understanding, and I can't go into detail, but is that they are more actively engaged here. We've talked with the U.S. Attorney. I don't know myself for a fact exactly what they're doing here, but I'm told they have people who are here and that they're engaged and, you know, that they're in a backup supportive role to the BCA, with whom they express great confidence, and but they are closely monitoring the situation.
So they're more engaged than what they said.
I believe so. I don't, again, I don't have all the information, but that's what I've been told.
What do you think of the occupation outside of your residence, and the graffiti and the signs, and the fact that people are camped there, and this looks like another July 5th occupation?
Well, it's been remarkably peaceful so far. I'm very grateful. We had estimated 1,500 people there last night. We left the vigil and came over there. I was out there, spoke with the mother, and, you know, a few people I told early this morning splintered off and went down the block, and that was. But I view that as, from what I can tell, a separate matter and not representative of the group as a whole. And so I'm grateful to everybody who's been engaged in peaceful protests, who exercised their First Amendment rights, and they, you know, it's a public street and it's a public site, so, you know, they have a perfect right to be there.
You don't just ask them to be moved. is what you're
No, not at all.
Governor, in that apparent standard traffic, the officers apparently says, looks like it's one of our suspects
Yeah.
because of a wide set nose. Is that a
I'm not going to comment on fragmentary reports that I haven't verified. I'm not going to speculate into that.
Have you heard anything that raises
Let's
concern
give some others a chance here.
about the St. Anthony?
Is anybody else who hasn't asked a question yet? And then we'll go back. Okay, all right. What is it again?
Have you heard anything that raises new concerns for you about the St. Anthony Police Department and its procedures?
I haven't received really any new information related to what occurred. You know, the BCA is conducting its investigation. That's non-public. They put out a report yesterday afternoon. That's what I've read. That's really all the information that I have about the situation. So I don't have anything more to add based on anything new, because I don't have anything new.
Governor, when I asked yesterday, the commissioner seemed to say that there's no state program to help educate officers on how to deal with situations like the other night. Do you have plans to get the state involved in educating officers on this?
Well, we're going to look at that. Again, I don't have a specific proposal to make at this time. I'm in a meeting with various groups. I'll be meeting with the Black Ministers Alliance this evening. The national head of the NAACP is coming in to town on Sunday. We've been on the phone with law enforcement leaders throughout in Minnesota just the last couple hours, and soliciting their advice. And so I want to get the input, the recommendations from people who are, you know, on the front lines and before coming forward with something. But, you know, I spoke with Mayor Coleman, and he stressed the extensive training that they provide their officers, including various kinds of responses. So, you know, he said he thinks they could serve as a model for the engagement that they've undertaken. So, you know, that's what we need to find out. We need to find out who's been doing what, because as several have said, this is really going to have to happen at the community level. It's going to have to happen at the site of local law enforcement, local citizens, and it's going to need that kind of engagement. It's not going to be able to be a top-down kind of thing. It's going to have to be something that just becomes widespread.
Can this just influence these issues?
I don't know for a fact whether it is or not. You know, we have a diverse population now spread throughout the state, so I don't think it's probably realistic to think it's confined to the metro area. But again, I don't want to do yellow generalities while we're trying to right now deal with facts.
Governor, are you confident the BCA can still conduct an objective investigation, given your own statements about your perception of what happened?
I don't think my statements are going to have, or should have, or will have any influence on them whatsoever. They're professionals. They're separate from me. They have an obligation that they take very, very seriously to go without bias or prejudice into the facts and extricate the facts as best they possibly can, and then present that to the Ramsey County Attorney, which I fully expect they will do. And I don't think my comments are going to be influential or should be influential on how they conduct the investigation or what their conclusions are.
In light of those comments yesterday, have you heard from law enforcement in the state, and if so, what were those conversations?
You know, I'm not going to relate those conversations. They're conversations. They, you know, some of them expressed their displeasure for sure, and you know, it's a very emotionally charged issue for people who have involvement in this from all perspectives. And again, I emphasize with them. I mean, what we all know, but we're starkly reminded of with what happened to Dallas, how our law enforcement men and women do put their lives, do risk their lives every single day and night to keep the rest of us safe and expose their own bodies and lifeblood to that, you know, those uncertainties. So it would underscore it again that the vast, overwhelming, almost unanimously, they conduct themselves with enormous professionalism and respect for the citizenry, and a great tribute to all of them, and the key components of the relative security we have here in Minnesota.
Governor, based on what you know now, why do you think that Mr. Castile was pulled over?
I'm not going to go any farther than what I said yesterday. I don't have any more new information.
Governor, if you think that the state investigation is going to be thorough and complete, what are you hoping a federal investigation will bring?
Additional expertise and perspective. You know, they have the federal civil rights act is in addition to whatever you know, charges the Ramsey County attorney should decide fall under state statute, and just their engagement to provide, I believe, reassurance to those who are concerned about the state's say BCA or anyone else in Minnesota, that there's going to be at least somebody looking over their shoulder closely and make sure that, as I say, the mission is fulfilled, which is to look at every detail and get every piece of information and come to present all that information to the county attorney.
Are you hopeful that the state investigation can be complete before, you know, a couple of months? I mean, Mayor Coleman said 3-4 months would be too long, and that needs to happen more quickly. What do you think?
Well, I'd like to see it happen as quickly as possible, and the fact that they interviewed the law enforcement officer or officers yesterday says they're moving as swiftly as they can. I don't, know, I'm not an expert on forensic investigations and what it takes to send things out to various laboratories or whatever to get it through. I know that they know that this is an absolute top priority, and that they will do everything they can to move as expeditiously as possible, while also make sure that they do it accurately and that they touch on all possible sources of information and so I mean, but everybody's aware of the time pressures, and everybody would like to have it done already, but it's going to take longer than that.
Have you asked for updates on the investigation, particulars of it, or do you want some distance from it?
I don't want distance, but I'm not going to inquire on a day-to-day basis with the status of the investigation. I'm not going to inquire into the details of the investigation. Until again, it follows the channels. I mean, the channels are well established by Minnesota statute, and I intend to follow the law, and that's why I'm asking all of our citizens to follow the law. And the law says that this is non-public information. I know you'd like to have more information, and many people would like to have more information, but the law prescribes the procedure. It provides for the installation of the BCA from outside influences, including mine, and I have every confidence that they will conduct themselves accordingly, and then that information, which is non-public, gets communicated or conveyed to the Ramsey County attorney, who then takes whatever action he's going to take as a result. This is the way the procedure is set up in Minnesota, and it's the procedure that we need to follow here as well.
You've repeatedly met with protesters over the last 24 hours. Why have you done that? Some of those meetings have seemed to be hostile. And can you hear the noise from the protests outside the residence, inside your home?
Yeah, I can hear the noise, sure. That's one of my axioms is always go to trouble, and that's where I think I belong in situations like that. And I think people have a right to see me, and they're out there because of who I am, the office I hold, and I represent that. I am in that office, and I think they have a right to engage with me.
Governor, have you seen or will you ask to see the video from the dash cam as you did in the Jamar Clark case?
I have not asked. I don't know whether I will or not. I haven't thought about it.
Governor, what is the question? Governor, what is the question that you find yourself most struggling to answer right now?
Why did this happen?
Governor Ramsey County Attorney John Choi isn't sure if the go to a grand jury has just been practice or decide on his own following the lead of the county attorney on proof. Do you have any thoughts or practices on which?
I'm not gonna. It's not my position to advise him. I think he should follow this to the end. And I said yesterday, do everything that he needs to do and should do to see that justice is served. And how he best thinks he can carry that out, I defer to it. That's his professional responsibility and his expertise. It's not mine. But I did say to people yesterday, and I stand by it absolutely, that I want to see justice served, and I want whatever necessary steps need to be taken to provide that for that justice, to have him and everyone else involved undertake it that way.
Governor, what types of training or procedures do you suggest would be good to help minimize these types of situations from happening?
Well, as I just said before, I don't have a specific proposal now, but I think it does involve training. It does involve, again, engaging with local law enforcement and local citizens, and trying to bridge some of these areas of mistrust. And again, I would defer to places like St. Paul if they have conducted training, and based on their experience, what they recommend is most effective, most successful. So I don't have that answer today, but I'm certainly committed to following through and finding those who do have that expertise, whether they be in Minnesota or somewhere else, and bringing that to bear on our situation.
Are you looking at making any changes that maybe need legislatively for the next regular session?
Well, certainly we'll look at that before the next regular session, but that's 6 months from now, and we'll see what how this instructs us, and we'll see what thoughts other people have about that. I expect it'll certainly be a topic of major consideration.
You're not looking at a special session or something?
I haven't focused on the special session in the last 48 hours, but I don't see this as being a part of that in any way. I've not received any indication from any of the legislative leaders that they think this should be part of anything to do with special session.
Is there going to be a special session regardless?
Well, no, there won't be a special session unless we get the resolution necessary on the two outstanding bills, taxes and bonding, and we're not there yet. So, no, it's not going to be a special session regardless.
Anything else? Okay.
Okay.
Governor, can you talk about a decision to have the Department of Natural Resources cut off the mineral lease?
I fully endorse that decision. It was shared that decision. The Commissioner Lander can elaborate, but we have put Esther on notice for the last 9 months that this July 1st, in fact, we extended it for a year, July 1st of 16 deadline for them to fulfill the terms of the leases, which is to be engaged in production. And the situation's gotten worse since then, not better. They owe $49 million to good Minnesota contractors, most of them up in northeastern Minnesota, some of whom were put in dire financial straits because of Esther's failure to make proper payments. And the last 2 months we've been talking with the company on a regular basis about what is needed, and demonstrated ability on their part to be able to carry this project forward to proper completion, begin production of taconite pellets, and really go beyond that to what sold my predecessors on this project to begin with, which is involved in direct reduction, which is the value added that's called for up there. And there's just been no evidence of any willingness to make whole the vendors or ability to carry forward the project. And I'm told that, in fact, we've been notified that they went into bankruptcy proceedings this morning, shortly before we delivered our termination letter. So at this point, we'll have to go through that whole process. But I've been in consultation with with Cliffs, Natural Resources Company, their CEO, Lorenzo Goncalves, who's very interested in taking over those leases and actually doing something with them, and that was not something we've decided now, and that would be something we would certainly consider after we obtain clear those leases from whatever the bankruptcy proceedings are. But I'm intending to go up with Mr. Goncalves next Tuesday up to the range for him to reaffirm his strong commitment and desire, if he were in possession of those leases, to finish building that plant and then have a direct reduction project to follow, which should be in the long-term best interests of the economy up there, because as we just went through a cycle now where there was an overcapacity of pellets, we don't need to supersaturate that market. It's very encouraging that both Cliffs operations one has resumed, the other is going to resume operation. There's indications that the situation is improved for other companies. Mr. Goncalves told me that the visit by White House Chief of Staff Dennis McDonough last December was a turning point in terms of getting the federal government engaged and enforcing some of our proper trade restrictions, as well as the legislation that was passed accompanying that, and that he credits that with the major role in turning around the U.S. market for taconite pellets. And so, we have reason to believe that progress is going to continue, and if we're on an upswing now, then this will be all the more a better opportunity for Cliffs or whomever to come in and take this project and put it into operation and put people to work there. Mr. Goncalves has offered to go up and meet with me. He's been in conversation with range legislators and again with me, and some of the contractors up there who have been left in arrears $49 million are understandably very concerned and wondering what does the future hold, and he wants to go up there and express his commitment to this project as he's defined it for me, and talk with them directly. Oh yeah. Okay, thank you.